If you are looking to activate that wildcard chip in game week 26, don't worry, I've got you covered with the ultimate team in today's video. Before we dive into today's team, I just want to say that we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and if you want to help me hit that goal, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, that one being the main one, to help me achieve this goal. Before we dive into the team, I wanted to start off talking about why maybe it might not be the best week to use the wildcard. Now, I obviously make wildcard videos every single week, but game week 26 is a little bit of a difficult one to navigate if you are looking to use that wildcard chip. Obviously, there's blanks in 26 and blanks in game week 29. Now, I think what might be more beneficial if you are thinking about wildcarding is using it in game week 27. By that point, we are going to find out which fixtures will be available for game week 29, as the FA Cup 5th round will take place before the game week 27 deadline. So that might give you a little bit more encouragement, potentially know which teams are going to be, doubling or blanking or whatever. It's all going to kind of help you out, maybe get some better players and maybe pick some better players that play in blank game week 29. So far, we do only have 3 fixtures: West Ham versus Villa, Fulham versus Tottenham, and Burnley versus Brentford. Now, you could argue potentially using that free hit chip in game week 29 could be useful, but for me, there does seem like very little upside, especially if only, 4 or 5 fixtures are going to take place in this game week. The other ones that are looking likely, probably Luton Forest, maybe Arsenal Chelsea. There's some that definitely could happen and might make a free hit a little bit more appealing, but overall for 5 fixtures I just don't think it's worth it. So with wildcard planning this week, it is super difficult to kind of navigate and predict which teams are going to play in that blank game week. Obviously we know 3 so far, but another 2 or 3 potentially could follow as well. So I do think maybe if you are considering holding on to that wildcard, or if you are thinking about it, I think potentially holding on till game week 27 might just be that little bit of a kind of better strategy for you and your side. But if you can't wait and want to do it this week, then let's go and take a look at today's team. Starting off at game week 26 wildcard, we are going to go with Areola in goal. Now, this one might be a little bit controversial. Obviously, West Ham, not the greatest defence at the moment. They're currently sat 19th for XG conceded, but goalkeepers as a whole, I think it is quite difficult to navigate over this period which one to go for. We've also got Kaminsky on the bench. He's there for the Luton double in game week 28. You could also go with Neto as well from Bournemouth, but I just didn't really fancy going for a triple up of Bournemouth players. You'll come on to see who the other Bournemouth player is a little bit later in the team, but yeah, I just didn't fancy going for that. Other options as well is Martinez from Aston Villa. He could be a really good shout for this week. Obviously, Aston Villa do play in blank game week 29 against West Ham United at home, so he might be an option, but he is that little bit pricey, and I think when we want to start getting Salah back in for game week 30 or onwards, he potentially could pose a little bit of an issue if he's eating too much up of your budget. Moving into the back line, we're going to start off with Gabriel. Over the past 5 weeks, Arsenal are top for XG conceded. Their defensive numbers at the moment are absolutely astounding. Without doubles, probably have some of the best fixtures in the league: Newcastle, Sheffield United, and then Brentford. Newcastle, interestingly as well, are currently sat 20th, rock bottom for XG conceded. So maybe Gabriel gets himself a goal. Who knows? He's been popping up with those recently. Sheffield United lost 5-0 today against Brighton. Brentford as well in 28. They're looking pretty poor as well, conceding a lot of big opportunities at the moment. So that potentially could be a little bit of scope there to go for some Arsenal defenders. Moving on to our next defender, and it is going to be Sergio Reguilon. Now, he was quite a popular pick going into double game week 25. Obviously, the main factor being he's got a double, plays in blank game week 26, and of course, plays in blank game week 29. Not a great fixture in 26 against West Ham, but both teams a little bit out of form at the moment. 27 and 28 are a little bit difficult with Chelsea and Arsenal, but then Brentford's fixture in game week 29 is Burnley away, and Sergio Reguilon could be a great shout to go for that game week. Obviously, we've got other defenders as well that can easily rotate in. Doherty and Sensei both having the double. Bournemouth have Burnley as well in 27. So Reguilon, when his difficult fixtures are there for 27 and 28, can just sit on the bench and be used in blank game week 26 and blank game week 29. Moving on to our final defender, and it is going to be Charlie Taylor, old 1 point Charlie. He's back in here again, very much a budget option. Plays in game week 29 against Brentford as well. Okay fixtures for the next two against Burnley, but they do seem a little bit kind of haphazard at the moment. They're probably going to finish rock bottom, but like I said, we've got other quality defenders on the bench who do double, but unfortunately don't play this game week or have City at home, which is quite a difficult fixture. So I think having just Charlie around, he's 3.9 million. The other option would be potentially to go for Jared Branthwaite. No fixture for Everton, in game week 29, but they play Brighton, West Ham. So again, could be a nice route into a cheap and easy defence. Let's move on to the midfield. We're going to start off with Pedro Neto. Picked up an assist yesterday for Wolves, and after Brighton put him to the sword, I feel very confident that Pedro Neto could come away with something special. Hwang is another great shout as well. In terms of fixtures for Wolves, it is a little bit difficult if my computer actually wants to let me slide and look at the fixtures. It's not too bad actually. Sheffield United, then Newcastle in 27, Fulham in 28, and then they don't currently play in game week 29. But then again, after that, Aston Villa, Burnley, West Ham. So there's some pretty good fixtures. He is quite a cheap option as well, so can just come in and out of the side when you need him for Wolves' good fixtures. But from what we've seen from Gary Neal's side so far, they are very much a very good counter-attacking side. So even when they do go and play in teams like Newcastle, Aston Villa, away from home, you know, they definitely could get something out of that game, and I wouldn't be shy from playing Pedro Neto in those bigger games. Moving on to our next midfielder, and it is going to be Jared Bowen. Recent performances definitely haven't been there for him and for West Ham overall, but like I said, he is one of the teams that does play in blank game week 29 and blank game week 26. He is a pretty decent option at times when he is cooking and does have that capability of going out there and getting big scores. But at the moment, form-wise, it isn't too much to kind of write about. This is purely based on the fixtures and featuring in blank game weeks. He's also a nice price point, so I feel when, obviously, that week does pass and you want to go and get maybe Salah and Son and kind of upgrade your midfield, he's at a nice price point where you can very easily just switch him out for one of the other boys. You don't have to kind of worry about taking money from elsewhere. It's already in that midfield area, so just very easy, swap and drag and go and get another one of the top quality assets. Moving on to our next midfielder, it is going to be Garnacho, my favourite enabler in the game at the moment. I'm filming this half-time in the United-Luton game. Already picked up himself an assist. If Marcus Rashford knew how to pass his ball, definitely could have got himself a goal as well, but I'm really liking what he's doing at the moment. United's fixtures, Fulham, then City, then Everton. Obviously no game for them in blank game week 29, but pretty much I think Garnacho could be a very easy hold till the end of the season. A great enabler who's playing regular football at the moment for Manchester United. Does seem like Ten Hag is slightly turning the ship around now. If they win today against Luton, I think that's now 6 kind of unbeaten games for them. So it does seem like the momentum is potentially shifting for Manchester United, and I do feel Garnacho is a big part of that. Moving on to our final midfielder, and it is going to be Bukayo Saka. I think he potentially could be captaincy material. He is cooking over the past 5 game weeks, picking up 7 goals, absolutely killing it with the data as well. I think he's close to like getting like 5 expected goals and like 1.8 expected assists. Absolutely killing it. The Arsenal fixtures as well are pretty strong. They also have the possibility of playing in blank game week 29. This is why I said at the top of the video, it might be better holding that wildcard till 27 to see which fixtures do become available, because if Chelsea lose to Leeds, which is, you know, very possible, Chelsea could do that. Leeds are a pretty good side in the Championship this season, very capable. It would mean then that Arsenal-Chelsea game would open up in game week 29, and I think that would make the Arsenal assets some of the best ones to go for. Newcastle at home on paper does seem difficult, but like we said with Gabriel, they are 20th for XG conceded, so definitely conceding lots of big opportunities. Then Sheffield United the week after, great captaincy material for Saka there. Then Brentford, and then obviously, like I said, that Chelsea fixture potentially that could happen in game week 29. Right, let's run through our forwards. Of course, we're going to have Erling Haaland in this team. Obviously, with him being back, I wouldn't expect blanks every single week like last week. Bournemouth, United and Liverpool, then a blank. Not the greatest. There are some definite tricky fixtures coming up for Manchester City. They've got to play the big boys. So far this season, Their record, I think they've only won one of the traditional top 6 sides in the Premier League. So, you know, not doing too well, Manchester City, against these sides. But you do feel if they are going to go on to win the potential title, they do have to go and win these games. And if Erling Haaland is getting the opportunities like he did yesterday, it will be just a matter of time before he goes and puts a hat-trick in the back of the net. His goal record in the Premier League speaks for itself. I think fixture-wise, he is pretty much fixture-proof. And probably, even with the fixtures, you're probably still going to captain him against some of these more difficult sides. Moving on to a man in form, it is Ollie Watkins. 4 goals, 3 assists for him in the past 5 game weeks. Overall, in terms of goal contributions this season, 28 goal contributions in 25 games. Aston Villa obviously do feature as well in blank game week 29, where they do play West Ham United. They've got Nottingham Forest up next, and then Luton in game week 27. Tottenham at home in game week 28 could be a big clash for top 4 football, and you do feel players like Ollie Watkins will definitely be in the mix and very, very much up for that game. Finishing off, our final striker, it is going to be Dominic Solanke. A goal and assist for him yesterday against Newcastle United. Bournemouth obviously do have the double game week against Sheffield United and Luton at home, and if you haven't played that triple captainship against Haaland this week, then Dominic Solanke could be your man for that week. Bournemouth arguably have some of the best fixtures coming up. Burnley, Sheffield United, Luton, Wolves, Everton and Crystal Palace. Some absolutely immense fixtures, and they still have the possibility of playing in blank game week 29. Let's have a quick run through of the bench before we do finish up. Kaminsky, we spoke about him. He's purely in here for the doubles. Son is in here because Spurs play in blank game week 29. Obviously don't feature this week, but it's Palace, Aston Villa, Fulham, Luton as a run for them, and then West Ham after that as well. So Fulham in game week 29, again, could offer himself up as captaincy material with very limited size playing. You want a premium asset holding that armband, Son could be your man. Sensei's in here again for the double for Bournemouth. Same with Alfie Doherty. Watching that first half against United, you can see all the creativity comes through him. A lot of set pieces, a lot of free kicks. It probably will be a matter of time before he does go and get himself a mega haul. And that'll probably be the point where we just don't have him in our teams. And it won't be on the double. Of course it won't. But yeah, he's in here for that. Let me know what you think of today's wildcard team down in the comment section. If you've got any questions about your team as well, get them into me. Like I said, like the video and subscribe as well, as we are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck this game week.